up and invited testimony is Dyani Chapman. Ms. Chapman, go ahead, please.
Great. Thank you to the chair, Fields Hall, and the committee. For the record, my name is Dyani Chapman, and I'm the State Director of Alaska Environment. We are a statewide environmental advocacy organization that represents members in Alaska. We work on issues relating to clean air, water, and open space. And we're in strong support of House Bill 162, and we think that this CS that matches what's on the Senate floor is a good version for the committee to pass as is. Being able to fix our electronics, be they cell phone or dishwashers, is beneficial across the board. From an environmental perspective, it reduces electronic waste, which is one of the fastest growing waste streams in the world. It's full of toxic material. In Alaska, our landfills are filling up, and in rural Alaska, our landfills are unlined, making the local communities and wildlife particularly exposed to the hazardous material in our broken electronics. Consumer electronics are a huge part of the e-waste, so this will make a difference there. It's absurd to treat valuable electronics like they're disposable and only last a couple of years when that doesn't have to be the case. This version of the bill also addresses parts pairing, which is incredibly helpful. We ran a fix-it clinic a couple weeks ago in Anchorage, and one lady brought in 2 broken coffee makers. She was able to combine different components from each to create one functional machine. And when parts pairing restrictions are present, this kind of repair isn't possible. And especially in rural areas, this kind of Frankensteining is one of the best ways to get things up and running quickly. There's a long tradition in the U.S. of using the junkyard to keep stuff functioning, and parts pairing restrictions is in direct opposition to that savviness. This bill will also save Alaskans money. One study estimates an average of $382 per year per family in Alaska for those consumer electronics if they're able to fix them. And then in Alaska especially, we just can't rely solely on manufacturer repair for consumer repair because it's fairly inaccessible for a lot of residents for a lot of products. We did a survey about a year ago, and I double-checked some of these numbers just recently to make sure they hadn't changed. More than a third of Alaskans, including all residents of Fairbanks and Juneau in rural Alaska, live more than 100 miles from an authorized repair provider for Apple products. 100% of Alaskans live more than 500 miles from an authorized Maytag service provider. The closest option in the U.S. to the major airport is Seattle. And 100% of Alaskans also live more than 500 miles from an authorized service provider for Lenovo computers. The closest option in the U.S. with a major airport is in Seattle. And this kind of stat follows for a lot of different electronic products. Bottom line, we've got to be able to fix stuff in state. This kind of legislation is incredibly popular across the political spectrum. Both the Biden and the Trump administrations are supportive, and it's rare to find individuals who don't like the idea of having more options for repair. And Alaskans especially want the self-sufficiency and responsibility for their private property. HB162 will allow us to make our local communities more resilient by using our local businesses and talent to keep our devices running instead of needing the global supply chain to constantly bring us new stuff. I strongly encourage you to pass this bill with that amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Next